Welcome to Italics, television for the Italian-American experience. I'm your host, Anthony Tamburri. Maria Teresa Cometto and Glauco Maggi are two authors of the book Recovering America. Two Italian journalists, husband and wife, who have lived in New York for 25 years, recount America through two coast-to-coast road trips as special correspondents for the Italian Cultural Institute of New York. First, I want to welcome you, both of you.
Thank you so much, Anthony, for having us.
And we should say that two things we have to underscore here. One, that this is published by Bordighera Press, which is part of the John D. Calandra Italian-American Institute. And also, I think it's a wonderful example of the Italian versus Italian-American or American dialogue, let's say, because the book was sponsored, or your trips, the two trips we're going to talk about, were sponsored by the Italian Cultural Institute, and at that time the director was Professor Fabio Finotti, and who had his own experience here in the United States. So it's wonderful to see this connection here coming together. So let's start with why the trip.
Oh yes, so on our bucket list there was of course a coast-to-coast trip. We moved to New York City in 2000, and so in 2021 we thought, well, we haven't done yet this, let's do it. But because we had already visited so many places, the most touristic ones, from I don't know, from Boston to Miami, Los Angeles, and so on. So we said, let's go and explore places where usually tourists don't go, and maybe even most Americans don't go. And so we thought of exploring the very northern state. So we thought to follow the pioneer Oregon Trail from New York to Oregon, so exploring states like North Dakota, Minnesota, places like that. And when we told Professor Finotti, the director of the Italian Cultural Institute, about our project, because it was still during the COVID crisis, the institute was closed, so he told us, oh, fantastic, we cannot have people at the institute, so you will bring us, your experiences from all this travel. And that's why we agreed to write every night a diary of what we did, people we met, our experiences. And it was a success because it was published every day on the website of the Italian Cultural Institute. And so after that, Professor Finotti asked us to do the same in the deep south, in the south. And again, we said, okay, we will not go to New Orleans or to Los Angeles. We are going to Mobile, Alabama. We are going to Baton Rouge in Louisiana. So we went along the southern states, and going to San Diego, we stayed in Arkansas. That is not another touristic destination. Oklahoma, places like this. And going back to New York along the Mexican border. So so that was the second trip.
And it says right on the cover, 105 days. So both trips comprise 105 days.
Yeah, approximately 2 months and 2 months. And how many miles? 20,000.
We said 32,000 kilometers, because we're talking kilometers. It's more for us.
Right, that's right.
Something.
Right.
And, yes.
And so normally one would think, okay, so the Italians are in New York and on the East Coast, and the Italians are on the West Coast. But you found out differently that there are Italians all over.
Everywhere.
Or Italian Americans, we should say.
Yeah.
All over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, I remember very well, was really something that we didn't expect. There was a town with Little Italy.
It was Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Close to Little Rock.
Yeah.
There was also Little Italy.
A small town called Little
Italy.
Italy.
With a number of residents, 500,
Yeah, yeah.
600.
Yeah.
But there was also in this town the museum for Italy. That was really interesting because there was a professor, a local professor that was Italian American, and he took care of everything. And we visited was something absolutely unexpected. Pictures of the families, the grand.
Yeah, generally speaking, people think of Italian immigrants like immigrants from the southern regions of Italy. And instead, in that case, and also Tontitown, the immigrants were from Veneto, mostly. And in both cases, they were cheated by some American con artist to buy a piece of land, thinking that it was something very, profitable, and instead it was nothing.
Yeah.
And in both cases, they were able to thrive with wine. They survived, and they are still there. The descendants are still there.
Yeah. So Arkansas, and we've spoken about this before, and many people don't know this, but in Arkansas in 1905, they had a professor of Italian at the University of Arkansas who was chair of the whole department. And they created there a little tradition also of Italian culture. And this is something even many of my colleagues in the world of Italian studies don't know how significant that is.
We learned, for example, in Washington State, at the Gonzaga University, there was a department with an Italian descendant, several professors, and one just arrived the day that we were there by chance, and we had a party that night. It was really, really nice. Yeah. And that professor that arrived was the professor that wanted to teach Italian with music, with rap, with
hip-hop, yes. Yeah, we visited a lot of department of Italian in universities the cities where there were universities, and we found out that they are very creative in trying to attract students because they have a lot of competition with so many different languages. And one of the most creative maybe was at the University of Flagstaff, Arizona.
University of Arizona.
Yeah, and there they have a summer program in Arezzo, right? In Arezzo, and they said, the professor told us that the academic is very serious. Even they teach grammar like in Italian schools, like dia dai per what the
diagramming sentences.
Yes. So in the morning, very strict teaching of grammar Italian, and in the afternoon, cooking in a local trattoria. And so they named the program Language and Linguini.
The chef that spoke only Italian was also
and they said that students really apply for this program.
In addition to meeting, because when one finally reads the book, they see that you did meet a lot of not only just Italian professors, but a lot of Italian Americans along the way. But what else besides that, and you can talk about that as well, what were some of the things that really surprised you, that you went, oh my God?
So one of the joke that we have between us when we travel before these two trips was that Glauco wanted always to go shopping in a Walmart supermarket, and I always said no Walmart. But in this trip, we discovered in Bentonville, in Arkansas, which is the place where Walmart was founded. Instead, it's a beautiful city in the Ozark Hills, very green, with a lot of pedestrian and bike trails, and full of culture, because one of the daughters of the founder of Walmart, Alice, used the money of the company to build a beautiful museum. The guides say Walmart pays for this. And so we had a beautiful weekend there, and that was a big surprise.
So it changed your perception of Walmart.
Well,
way,
shopping is still out, but
No, one thing in the town, one thing that surprised us was the many people from Asia, because Walmart is in
competition with Amazon, of
with
course.
Amazon, with the other big tech company, and has to improve the high tech business.
Talking about people, yeah, we met a lot of people, both planned meetings or just people we met around. In particular, we met several African-American leaders in different places. And the one who impressed us most was Ms. Opal Lee, called the Grandma of June 19th.
It's an historical
And she lives in Fort Worth, close to Dallas. And it was thanks to her that June 19th became a national holiday. And what impressed us was that even though she had a very tough life, and the parents were harassed when they moved to a white neighborhood in Fort Worth, and so they had to struggle to survive. But she became a teacher. She has raised children, grandchildren, and she's a strong advocate of principles and values that are the Martin Luther King Jr.'s ones. So blind love to everybody, and preaching the young guys, the young African American, not to use guns but sharp minds to succeed in life.
Yeah.
So she was so, full of energy, positive, and it was really, really nice meeting her.
So was that a meeting that you had planned?
Yes. And then there were chances encounters that were beautiful. For example, on a lake in Minnesota, it was when we, under these two gigantic, the blue ox and the lumberjack.
Paul Bunyan.
Yes, yes. So this was a place where, of course, logging was the main industry. So there were two gigantic statues, very funny. And we were talking
Italian,
between us,
and
because
at the time,
always
we did also the little
video. And always people listening to us and guessing that we were Italians, they would approach us. And in that case, it was a professor from
from here.
Ofra.
From
Ofstra. A professor from Ofstra who spent a lot of time in Abruzzo, the Parco Naturale, the National Park of Abruzzo.
With a mission
to protect the Orso Marsicano. He loved the Orso Marsicano. He wrote a book about the Orso Marsicano. And he was so enthusiastic of meeting us. He doesn't speak Italian, just English, that he invited to his cottage for the night.
Again, in some cases, we try to keep in touch with people that...
We're still in touch with many people.
One of them maybe will be here in Manhattan, in the fall, in the fall, in occasion of the 100 years of the
Route 66.
Oh.
We discovered that was by chance, in New Mexico, that one of the experts of Route 66 is an Italian anthropologist and photographer, Nicoletta D'Avanzo. And so she has done a lot of work with the National Park Service to celebrate Route 66 that turns 100 this year.
Yeah. So who are some of the chance encounters that remain really strong in your memory?
Well, one that remains pretty strong happened in Valentine, which is a small town in Nebraska. Now they have made a business out of being named Valentine.
Of course.
So yeah, but Valentine was the wife of a general going by. So a very nice surprise was also how interesting and also a lot of fun the presidential libraries are.
Right.
So we visited the 6 of them, from Carter to Nixon, Clinton, Bush, many of them. They are so interesting, and each one is different, but you have different take on American history, and you can immerse yourself in this history.
Yeah.
And they are mostly pretty objective. I mean, for example, in the Nixon library, they don't hide nothing about the Watergate, absolutely. But there, we didn't remember that he was also a foreign affairs consultant of Bill Clinton, Nixon, for a while. And when he died, one of the eulogies was done by Bill Clinton, and there is the video, and at a certain point he says, don't think of this man just for all the bad things he did, because he was also a great statesman, and he did also good things.
Yeah. Right. And in fact, he went to China.
For example.
He opened up the
And he
East.
created the EPA.
Yep.
It was him who created the
forget about
Environment Protection Agency.
Yeah.
It was under Nixon.
And he finally ended the Vietnam War, which, was what it was. I mean, that had been something, first the French, then the US, then...
Yeah. Lyndon Johnson also was very interested in the Presidential Library. So we invite everybody to visit the Presidential Library. And it's
because
fun.
You learn history, and can be also amusing. For example, in the plane, in the Air One of Reagan, you cannot imagine that there is, close to the pilot, there is a small seat where Reagan wanted to stay because he enjoys looking at the
looking out.
like to stay close to the pilot.
Yeah. Well, so getting back to the Nixon Library actually had a fairly well-known historian as the director for many years. For the most part, they're serious libraries, they're serious research centers that you learn about the president, but then everything around the president. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is done. Now you're enjoying the fruits of your labors.
It's interesting that the cover was created by a Venezuelan American Italian designer. So Marta Dow is originally from Venezuela, and then she married an Italian woman from Milan who was American, so she became American. And recently she became also Italian. So it's a very international collaboration.
So you did part of an around the world trip.
Also last year, yes.
And you're going on a smaller version, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, we love traveling.
Yes.
Apparently. And so after traveling everywhere in America, except we are missing one state for, I don't know why, Kansas. We have to go to Kansas.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
Where there is another presidential library that we want to visit, Eisenhower.
Yeah.
Is in Kansas. So apart from that, we have visited all the 49 states, yes. And so we said last year, why don't we go and visit nations that we haven't visited yet? So Asia, Africa, South America, and we did it with this round the world ticket, which is a special airplane ticket.
But you started in Europe.
We started in Europe from Oslo because it's cheaper, much cheaper than starting from New York. Yes. So from Oslo we went to South Africa, and then to India, Thailandia, Vietnam, Hong Kong, China, Japan, Australia, Chile, Argentina, and Brazil.
And then now you are in New York City. This
is a leg of the trip, and we will go back to Oslo through Helsinki. Also there, we met some Italians around, especially in Buenos Aires, of course.
Brazil and
especially
São Paulo and
Buenos Aires.
We have Calandra Institute with our friends in Australia, Coasit in Melbourne, and with the Italian Immigration Museum in Genova, and then with the museum in Buenos Aires. We did a conference there on the Italian diaspora, and it was fascinating to see. I mean, they're just all Italian.
Yeah.
It's just amazing, you know.
And the museum is really, really beautiful on the river.
Yeah. Well, listen, so we're going to look, then we should maybe look forward to something about your world tour. Is that in the works? Are you at the typewriter with
yes,
that?
Yes,
like every day we
like
use the same pattern.
Every day writing a diary in order not to forget what happened.
Yes.
Well, people, as far as this is still fresh off the press, we can say, and it's available in any bookstore and any of the online, or right directly to Bordighera Press.
And also in ebook now.
And now, just at the beginning of the week, we found out that the ebook now is ready, and it's up on Amazon and the other platforms. So great. And we look forward to your next book. And thank you for taking the time out to be here.
Thank you for hosting us. And it was a great pleasure.
Then we traveled to Albany for the Italian American Day, presented by the New York Conference of Italian American State Legislators. Some of this year's honorees are Marc Coppola, TV actor, producer, and disc jockey, and Kyle Palmieri, New York Islanders right wing. Let's go to Albany.
The Italian American Legislators, our function, our goal, and our purpose is to celebrate Italian heritage and Italians. Our first awardee this year is Marc Coppola. Marc, would you come up, please?
My dad would have loved this. He's not with us anymore. He's passed away, unfortunately, at 75, but he instilled in us the Italian-American values, which were strong work ethic and also passion, Italian passion for things in the arts. Mr. Palmieri is here today, too, and he's in sports, hockey, and passion for that. So that's what my family instilled in us. We want to keep that going. And I just want to thank everybody for allowing us to be the Italian Americans of the Year. Thank you so much.
Our next awardee is Kyle Palmieri. Kyle epitomizes passion, he epitomizes strength, and he epitomizes the heritage and the spirit of the Italian heritage.
Marc is great on the mic. These guys are both great on the mic. Just want to say how honored I am to be here. Thank you guys for this award and being recognized.
Dr. Anthony Tamburri. Doctor, you want to come up? His studies, his dedication, and his continuous fight to have this body support and fund the Calandra Institute of Italian Studies so that people would understand. I'm going to give you the resolution honoring you, and I'm going to ask you to say a few words on the history. Thank you.
Thank you. I am the Dean of the John D. Calandra Italian American Institute, which owes its existence to the New York Conference of Italian American State Legislators. Those of you who are old enough may remember John D. Calandra from the 80s, from the Bronx, and it was he who did a study of anti-Italian discrimination within the City University of New York, which then led to the institution, the John D. Calandra Italian American Institute. Thank you for watching this episode of Italics. I'm Anthony Tamburri. Arrivederci alla prossima puntata.